Salut les amis, aujourd'hui on va étudier le conditionnel passé en français. We are going to study the past conditional, le conditionnel passé en français. Et si vous voulez écouter toute la leçon en français, vous pouvez cliquer là ou ailleurs, ça dépend de où vous êtes. Et vous pouvez regarder ma deuxième vidéo, c'est la même vidéo mais tout en français. And here we are going to study all this, but with my explanations in English. Okay, if you want the French explanations, you know what to do. Voilà, allez, on commence. Alors, I've already made a lesson about that subject, le conditionnel passé, but as you've been asking it a lot, I've decided to make a second video, so this one, but with more details about the conditionnel passé and more expressions, so you can really understand all the situations where we can use the conditionnel passé. But if you want to watch the other lesson, this is this one, l'hypothèse du passé. I've made l'hypothèse du futur, du présent and du passé. And in this video, I explain also the conditionnel passé. Okay, so let's start with this new video. On y va. So as last time, we are going to follow Gaël and Théo, and tonight they are at the restaurant, and unfortunately they forgot to book the restaurant. Ils ont oublié de faire une réservation. And so they can't find any place, and so they can't eat in this restaurant. Ils ne peuvent pas manger dans ce restaurant parce qu'ils n'ont pas réservé. Oh, c'est triste, c'est triste. Alors, we are going to study the dialogue between Théo and Gaël, and more specifically, you are going to observe how we build the hypothèse du passé. That's how I call it, hypothèse du passé. You can also find it called as irréel du passé. Why? Because we are talking about a regret in the past, so it's too late now. You cannot change the situation. They should have done things like book and arrive earlier, but they did not. So it's too late now, unfortunately. They have to find another solution. So that's why we call it irréel du passé or hypothèse du passé. But I think it's really better if we observe some examples to make sure we understand everything. Let's go. So here we have Théo, and he's expressing a regret, un regret. Si j'avais su, j'aurais réservé. Si j'avais su, j'aurais réservé. I exaggerate a little bit my pronunciation so that you can really understand and see how we pronounce everything correctly. So as usual, you have the translation in English, and what is interesting here is that you can observe that the logic in French and in English are the same. So that's great. Wow, what a relief. Because you just need to adapt what you know in English in French, and in many languages it is like that. So in Italian, in Spanish, in Portuguese, and maybe in many other languages. So you can tell me in the comments below if it's the same in your language or not. Alors, donc, let's observe a little bit more precisely how we build the hypothèse in the past. So first of all, you observe that we have si, because it's an hypothèse. Hypothèse, you have si, okay? And after you have two verbs, and they are not conjugated at the same tense, okay? So what are these tenses here? Do you know them? If you are a beginner, you are going to panic a little bit and you're going to think, whoa, that's too hard. Well, no. Keep cool. This is not so hard actually, because I'm going to explain to you why. So first of all, you observe the past participle, okay? So here, the past participle, this is the same as the past participle that you learned for the passé composé, d'accord? And if you don't know about the passé composé yet, I mean, this lesson is really too hard for you. I advise you to learn the passé composé first. But if you know about the passé composé, you're going to see that the logic here is the same. Okay, so you take the past participle. So here, this is the past participle of the verb savoir, to know, savoir, exactement, savoir. And here, you have the past participle of the verb réserver, easy, huh? Okay, past participle, it's okay. Now you have to observe the auxiliary to understand what is the tense that is used. Donc, j'avais, it's the auxiliary avoir, aurait also the auxiliary avoir. But here, the tense, what is this tense? J'avais. Imparfait. Imparfait. So yeah, you need to know the imparfait also. Imparfait plus past participle is plus que parfait. You have parfait like imparfait, but it's plus que parfait. So it's the past of the imparfait. Okay. Aurait, what is this tense? Aurait is not the future, no. Conditionnel, it is the conditionnel. Future and conditional are very similar, okay? So this is the conditionnel. And so when you have the auxiliary at the conditionnel and the past participle, you have the conditionnel passé, which is the past of the conditionnel. Great, easy. You see, you understand. Okay, so this logic, you will find it in all the compound tenses of the French language, okay? Even for the subjonctif passé or the futur antérieur, it's always the same logic. Okay, so what you need to observe now is that to express the hypothesis in the past, l'hypothèse du passé, the regret, let's be simple, let's be simple, the regret, you use si plus que parfait plus conditionnel passé. Okay, it's too late, so you need to use the past. I would have. J'aurais réservé. So this is a way to use the conditionnel passé, and we are going to see two other ways we can use it. But now let's continue with the hypothesis in the past, because I want to make sure that it's piece of cake for you. So very easy. Okay, I'm a bit ambitious, but let's continue. Alors, Gaëlle, elle répond, si on n'avait pas été en retard, on aurait eu une table. On aurait eu une table. I know this is hard for you. Eu une. Okay, but you have to train. Ok. Alors, là, ce qui est intéressant, again, we have ici le plus que parfait, and again, we have the conditionnel passé, d'accord? Et ça, c'est le plus que parfait du verbe être. So, the pluperfect of the verb to be, verbe être, we use the auxiliary avoir, okay? We don't use the auxiliary être with the verbe être, d'accord? Bon, ça, you know it with the passé composé, it is the same. Et ça, c'est quoi? C'est le participe passé du verbe avoir, ok? So we use the auxiliary avoir with the verb avoir. On aurait eu, ok? Et interesting is the negation. So you have the negation here between the auxiliary. Okay, if you want to know more about the negation, check the lessons. Ok, alors, on continue. You see that in English, it is the same. Reproche. Alors, what is the difference between a regret and a reproach? Reproach? In French, reproche. Well, it's easy. Regret, you regret something you've done or you haven't done. Et le reproche, you reproach something to someone else. So grammatically speaking, there is no difference, exactly the same. The only difference is that you are going to say tu, and not je. Voilà, but the logic is exactly the same. Donc si tu étais allé plus vite, on serait arrivé à l'heure. So he's reproaching this to Gaël. Again, the woman is slower. Not fair. Si tu étais allé plus vite, on serait arrivé à l'heure. Donc, you observe that we have the verb aller. So the verb aller is conjugated with the auxiliary être. You know it with the passé composé. Donc, être à l'imparfait. And here we have the verb arriver, also in the list of the verb with the auxiliary être. Check the lesson, check the list. Okay. So when you have the auxiliary être, be careful, as usual, you have to agree with the subject. So the subject here is tu, and tu is Gaël, and Gaël is a woman, so you put an I at the end. And here the subject is on. Alors, on, this is very special. You can consider that on is singular, and yeah, it is singular because you conjugate it in the singular, so you don't put an s at the end because this is singular. And the other way to think about it is that, yeah, it is singular, but the idea of on is plural, so we put an S because on is representing many people, like 2, 3, 4, 5. So you put an S. Okay, so you do what you want. Personally, I prefer to put an S because I find this more logical. Even if when I was young, this was not accepted, so we could not put an S, but now with the reform, with the evolution of the French language, we are allowed to put an S, so let's do it, okay? Voilà, ok, on continue. Plus que parfait, conditionnel passé, blablabla, now you know about it. Voilà. Alors, maintenant, I want to make sure that you know your conjugation. Yeah, this is important because it's good to understand, but it's also good to know. Okay, donc, you have, as I told you, two auxiliaries. You have the auxiliary être and avoir, and you should know when to use each of them. If not, you know what to do. Donc, let's conjugate the verb être at the conditionnel présent. Okay, because that's how we build after the conditionnel passé. Je serai. Tu serais, not sera, serait. Sera is the future, d'accord? Serait. Elle serait. Nous serions, don't forget the I because it's the same as the imparfait at the end and the beginning of the future. Nous serions, vous seriez, il serait. Don't pronounce all these letters, you just say serait, same as this one. Serait, serait. Avoir. J'aurais. Tu aurais. Ok, super. Elle aurait. Aurait. Nous aurions, liaison, because we have a vowel. Nous aurions. Vous auriez. Ils auraient. Liaison again, very important to make the difference between the plural and the singular. Ils auraient, il aurait, singular, ils auraient. Elles auraient, elle aurait. Okay, so here the liaison is necessary. And now you've conjugated the auxiliary, you add the past participle that is the same as the passé composé. Okay, super, you know how to conjugate now. Great. Voilà, so now you know about the hypothèse in the past, l'hypothèse du passé, si plus que parfait plus conditionnel passé. Okay, so now let's study other verbs like specific expressions that we use a lot, so I advise you to learn them by heart, because if you have to think about them when you speak, it's going to be too hard and you're going to take too much time to speak. So these ones, just learn them. So some are easier than others, and I'm going to tell you the one you really need to know and the one that are only for advanced students. So these verbs we are going to conjugate in the conditionnel passé. There are not so many, that's why you can learn them by heart. It's the verb devoir, pouvoir, as usual. Mieux faire de, this one you don't know about, but you know that we love the verb faire in French. We use it all the time. Mieux valoir, valoir, you don't know it. Et falloir, falloir, you know it. It's il faut in the present, and we are going to study it in the conditionnel passé. But let's start first with devoir. Alors, devoir. Tu aurais dû réserver pour 20 heures. Reproche. Tu aurais dû. Dû, you have a little hat, un accent circonflexe. This is just a decoration, because when you go to the restaurant, it's good to be well dressed and to wear a hat. I'm joking, okay? So this is to make the difference between the partitive dû and dû, the verb devoir. Voilà, that's all. That's all. Alors, no difference in the pronunciation, it's dû. Tu aurais dû. And this one, tu aurais dû, you should have done that. You should have. Tu aurais dû after you have the infinitive. Because we've conjugated the first verb, devoir, at the conditionnel passé. So the second verb is at the infinitive, okay? We've given a lot of energy to conjugate the first verb. We don't have any energy to conjugate the second verb. So the second verb, we don't conjugate it, okay? Voilà. Alors, oui, j'aurais dû. Regret, j'aurais dû. I should have. J'aurais dû. So you see, you can use this expression with all the different persons. Nous aurions dû, vous auriez dû, ils auraient dû, elle aurait dû. Okay, voilà. But it's aurait dû, so remember this one. Yeah, this one is very useful. Pouvoir. Pouvoir also is very useful. Tu aurais pu, could. Should, could. Tu aurais pu te préparer plus vite. Tu aurais pu te préparer plus vite. Is reproaching to Gaël not to have gotten ready fast. Always the woman that takes her time. This is a stereotype, of course. Huh? It's not always the case. Hein? Tu aurais pu te préparer plus vite. Ok, bah voilà, hein? Nothing else to say, and the answer is oui, j'aurais pu. I could have, j'aurais pu. Okay. Voilà, so these two verbs, learn them by heart. This one, you see, is going to be a bit more difficult, so maybe for advanced students only. Mieux faire de, on aurait mieux fait d'arriver tôt. Oui, on aurait mieux fait de ne pas arriver en retard. Ok? Donc, on aurait, j'ai fait la liaison parce qu'on a avoir, on aurait, mieux, prononciation, mieux fait de. Donc, c'est une expression, d'accord? Donc, you have mieux at the beginning and it's better in English. We'd have been better off, d'accord? On aurait mieux fait d'arriver tôt. Et on a, attention, préposition de. Hein? So, before a vowel, we have the apostrophe, okay? But don't forget the preposition. Unfortunately, when you learn an expression, you need to learn all the little words, because if you change the little words in an expression, that doesn't mean anything anymore. So, voilà. So, as usual, second verb, we are too tired to conjugate the second verb. We conjugate only the first one. Voilà. Alors, now let's study mieux valoir. Mieux valoir, difficult, d'accord? C'est difficile. Il aurait mieux valu. So again, we have mieux. Hein? We would have been better. Alors, in English, there is not so much difference. Alors, il aurait mieux valu qu'on se dépêche. Se dépêcher, to hurry. This is a pronominal verb. Se dépêcher. Il aurait mieux valu, so it's the verb valoir that you don't really use a lot, no. We use it in this expression, but not in many other expressions, d'accord? And with il. Il aurait mieux valu qu'on se dépêche. So this one, if you don't want to learn it, you can forget about it. But just when you hear it, just understand that that means that. And if you are advanced, you should not be listening to this lesson in English. Because you know I made this lesson in French too, so watch the lesson in French, not in English, d'accord? So you are not supposed to be advanced. So actually, I am not supposed to explain this to you. But okay, let's finish. We are almost finished. Oui, il aurait mieux valu nous dépêcher un peu. Il aurait mieux valu, voilà, the same with il, nous dépêcher. So here you see that you can use que or you can use the infinitive. If you use que, this is a bit hard because you have the subjunctive after. You're going to say, what? The subjunctive? But no, it's the present. Well, no, this is the subjunctive, but here this is the verb se dépêcher, and the form is the same as the present, but if you change the person, il aurait mieux valu que nous nous dépêchions. Eh bien, you can hear yon, so this is the subjunctive. Okay, so better to use for you the infinitive. Il aurait mieux valu nous dépêcher un peu. Okay, yeah, I've changed this because this is a pronominal verb, voilà. You're going to tell me, yeah, why do you change this? Because there is the infinitive after, so let's keep the infinitive like it is. Yeah, I know this is bizarre, but we changed the pronoun, even if this is for the infinitive after, okay? Donc, voilà. If you just did not understand what I just said, don't worry. This is not so important for you. And we finish with the verb falloir that you know about because you use il faut que, il faut. So in the conditionnel passé, il aurait fallu. We should have taken a taxi. Il aurait fallu prendre un taxi. We use it with il only. Oui, il aurait fallu faire ça. Oui, il aurait fallu faire ça. Okay, great. Voilà, so we've studied all these verbs that we use in the conditionnel passé. And okay, if you want to memorize only two, of course, devoir, pouvoir, as usual. Et voilà. Alors, to finish, and I know this might be hard for you, but I think it's interesting because this reveals some strategy of the French language and French journalists. And yeah, I find this very interesting. So l'incertitude, that's what I call l'incertitude journalistique. We use the conditionnel passé. So the journalists use the conditionnel passé when they want to give an information, but they are in a hurry. They don't have time to, or they don't have the opportunity to check and to make sure that their information is certain, but they still want to talk about it. So they could say something like peut-être, maybe, we don't know, but this is not professional. So they don't want to use all these words like peut-être, on ne sait pas. And what are they going to use? They are going to use the conditionnel passé. That means that the information is not certain, but this sounds very professional. Okay, let's check some examples to understand. Le président a convoqué les ministres. A convoqué les ministres, okay? Alors, here we use convoquer, a convoqué, which is the passé composé. This is the indicative mode. So here, when we use the passé composé like that, we are certain about the information. Sure. If we are not so certain, we can say peut-être que, maybe, peut-être que le président a convoqué les ministres, okay? But it's not professional, so a journalist would say le président aurait convoqué les ministres. Le président may have, aurait convoqué les ministres. And here with the conditionnel passé, we sound professional, but still we are not certain about the information we are giving. So if someone attacks us and say, but you were wrong yesterday when you said that because na, the journalist can answer, well, but I used the conditionnel passé, so I didn't say that for certain. So useful. So useful, and pay attention to that when you listen to French journalists now, you will see that they use this a lot. So that means that they are really not certain about the information. Very often they are not certain. And I want to give you two other expressions to express something that is not certain. On dit que le président a convoqué les ministres. It's been said that, on dit que, this is a rumor, not so professional. Il paraît que le président a convoqué les ministres. Il paraît que. Okay? So I've heard that. Voilà. So here, this is what you would say when you would be talking to a friend or to someone, to anyone. But this is not what a journalist would say. A journalist would say that, and you would say that. This is a bit too formal for you when you speak. So this is why I show you these expressions that you can use, and this one you can listen and hear it and understand it. Now, that's your turn. This is a little exercise for you. Un des ministres est sorti en colère de la réunion. One of the ministres was upset after the meeting, and here this is the passé composé, so we are certain about our information, but how a journalist would say if he or she was not certain of the information. Tick-tack, tick-tack, tick-tack. I'm waiting for you to find the answer. So you need to use the conditionnel passé. So you keep this auxiliary, l'auxiliary être, but you put it at the conditionnel présent, and you keep the past participle. Un des ministres serait sorti en colère de la réunion. Un des ministres serait, so you just changed the et in serait conditionnel, and sorti is the same. So finally, you see that the conditionnel passé, you get used to it quickly. Hein? Last one. Le tremblement de terre, so the earthquake, le tremblement de terre a fait 200 victimes. A fait 200 victimes. Conditionnel passé, because we are not sure about the number of victims. Tic-tac, tic-tac. Yes, now this is the auxiliary avoir. Donc le tremblement de terre aurait fait 200 victimes. Voilà, avoir, aurait. The earthquake. Ben voilà! So we are finished. Voilà, so the lesson was long but important for you to understand the different ways we can use the conditionnel passé. And so now I advise you to try and use it and to review also your conjugation if you are not certain about them. And if you have any question, as usual, ask them in the comments below. If you want me to make a lesson, you can also ask me in the comments below. But first, before to suggest a subject, I advise you to go to my website, because here you are going to find the list of all my lessons. You can check if you find the lesson you are looking for, and if not, yeah, you can ask me to make a new video and a new lesson about that subject. Voilà, so je vous souhaite comme d'habitude une très bonne journée. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like my lessons. Et je vous dis à très bientôt pour une nouvelle leçon de français. Ciao, ciao!